Hello, my beautiful free spirits. Today I want to talk about emotions. Emotions is a really big part of my program, my coaching program, and the courses I give and everything I talk about. I include emotions, the emotional well-being that we really need to understand. So today, the emotion I want to talk about is anger. Now, there is a lot to say about anger, so I'm not going to cover everything. What I want to talk about is righteous anger. So what is to be in anger righteously? What I want to start with is to talk about anger in general. We are led to believe that when we step into that emotion of anger, when we allow ourselves to show anger, that we are stepping out of love. This is what we are led to believe. You've really got to control that anger. You really have to do something about that anger. And it's portrayed as if we are stepping out of love, as if we are so wrong to feel anger. So the first thing I want to say to you is that no emotion is wrong, because every emotion is showing us something about ourselves, about where we are at. So don't treat it like it's wrong. This is the reason why we are, in some societies, in some communities where people, they're walking around like emotionless. And that is what it is, emotionless. They do not want to show that they have emotions. But we all have emotions. It's not a bad thing to have emotions. Now, when I'm talking about anger, there are so many things to say about that. But righteous anger, it's something I really want to speak about. I've wanted to speak about that for quite a while. And the reason why now is because I see around many people who are feeling angry in a more righteous way. And they don't know how to express that. It's almost like they have to justify their anger. What is righteous anger? I want to remind you that on that spiritual level, and this is not religious, I do not want my talks to turn religious, right? But I would like to remind you that Jesus got angry. Buddha got angry when he went over the walls of that palace and he saw what he saw out there. He didn't just step back and thought, I'll ignore that. No, he did not ignore it. When Jesus got angry because the temple was being abused, he didn't turn away and ignored it, nor did he ignore what was being done. To get angry on that righteous level is to stand for God, whatever that means to you. But it's to stand for the universe, it's to stand for love. It's to stand for that place within us, because this is what it's all about. Is to stand with that inner place that we are, where we are aligned with the universe. We are the extension of that universe, of source. You are the essence of love in this physical body. And when you know in that place, in your heart, in that place, that everything you stand for, that love that you stand for, is being mocked, is being belittled, is being abused and used, you have that right to stand up in that love. You stand up for what God is about, what you are about, that essence of love. You don't stand up for ego, for the little self of you. And I will talk about that anger another time. But right now, that righteous anger is what you know, is what has touched you on that spiritual level, that you need to come against that. You need to rebuke that evil consciousness. Because to believe that you just have to turn away, that is not what we are supposed to do as spiritual people, as children of the universe, as the essence, that energy of love. That's not what we're supposed to do. Definitely not. So to stand up in anger is to speak up. That's what it is. You are speaking up for love against the little evil consciousness that is standing, mocking everything that we are. Now, if you think about, all these books where you have the Jezebels, and you have all these people who were living in such a, I want to say sinful, but I need you to understand what sin is, and that is to come against the truth, really. And they were doing these orgies, but in the sense that they were mocking the pure essence of love that we are, the respect and love where we hold people high, where we are putting all of us as those mighty spirits, where we are love, we are compassion, we respect each other because we love each other, and we help each other rise, we help each other in that loving place. And when these outside forces, these outside consciousness, they come in and they are making fun of us for what we are, who we stand to, it is totally okay to stand up for that love that we are, and to stand in anger, righteous anger. So what is that? Well, let me just say something, or ask you something. If you were walking around and you saw a little child being abused, would you just ignore it and walk away? Would you not try to do something? I'm not saying you have now got to embody somebody really horrible, and evil as well, and start, hitting them, unless you are actually trying to get the child from them because they are being beaten up or something. But wouldn't you feel within yourself that you want to speak up for this brother or sister who is being abused by this evil consciousness? Really? This is what it is to stand in who we are. We need to understand that it is for us to stand in righteous anger. And I know I have been told it's not my job to wake somebody up. It's not my job to work in somebody else's life. Be careful. I am not saying it's your job to do to intervene when really it's somebody else's lesson. This is not what it's about. This is to stand in calling out, shining the light on evil consciousness, calling them out. That's what it's about. That is different than actually stepping in and doing the work for somebody else, of course. But you are shining the light on that evil consciousness. So I had an experience like that, where I stood up and I spoke against somebody who had abused, and it doesn't matter what type of abuse, against some children. I just found out and I spoke against that, and I spoke out and I spoke loudly about that, and I spoke for God and and the love that we are, I stood firm there, not accepting those actions as something that I was supposed to find out and walk away. That is not who we are. That is really not who we are. We are not called to be that, to be then the accomplice of that evil consciousness, or that, whatever you want to call it, that abuse, that control, that manipulation against children. So I actually spoke loudly on behalf of them. And what happened is that my own people turned against me. My own people turned against me. I was not supposed to tell about that. I was being nosy. I was standing in a place where it was none of my business. Those are the words that they were being spoken against me. Not necessarily straight to me, but the hypocrisy of this is something that I would not accept. I was at a place where there is no way I was going to allow that information to be given to me and do what? And be the accomplice, ignore what had been done, said. It's not right. We have the right to stand up in anger, in righteous anger, and speak against that evil consciousness. Yes, we have got the right. And I don't care that they turned against me and I was called names, ignored, like now I'm not being spoken to. That's fine. That is a choice. The choice that I made and the choice that they're making. And that's fine with me. But I will not allow anyone to stop me from speaking or from having that righteous anger. So why am I bringing that to you? Is because the minute we choose to ignore abuse, to ignore that evil consciousness, we are becoming the accomplice of that. And we are called to stand for that love. And it is right in those occasions to just rebuke evil. You come against it. And if you have to speak your words out loudly, you are entitled, you are right to do it. You are doing it for love. And you can say, no, I do not accept that. No, I do not align with you on this one. So you need to go within your heart. This is where intuition comes in. You really need to go within. How does this feel? And if I don't feel it's right, I can speak out like Jesus did, like Buddha did, like any spiritual who can speak out for love and against evil consciousness, whatever that looks like. So no, of course I don't regret any of that. I spoke out and I shone the light on that situation. Whether that made some people uncomfortable because they had known and they had never spoken against that, that is not for me to judge. You see, that is not judging the person, but it is to hold highly the love that we are and God. That is different. I did not judge the people who did not speak out, but you have got to go within. I was called a shit stirrer. I was called a problem maker. I was called whatever names. It doesn't matter. So when you have that, ask yourself, where is that anger coming from? I am allowed in that righteous anger to speak up and to speak against evil. So if this is something that speaks to you and you want to comment on it, please do so. do so and tell me of when you have been in that situation and how it's felt for you. So within all this, what I want to explain in this is that within these emotions, we are told that anger is something that we should not show, because that's wrong to be angry, because that's actually judging, because that is not being able to control ourselves, because that is coming from our insecurities, is coming from... When we have emotions, we don't know where it's coming from. You cannot judge another person for that. But what you need to do is to acknowledge those emotions, acknowledge even that anger. And of course, if you are angry and now you're going to fight people and to be violent, there is something that you need to get to understand. And I will speak of that later on. But for today, I really wanted to speak about this righteous anger that is not standing in judgment against somebody else, but what it is to stand for the love that we are. It's to stand for the universe, and it's okay to speak against evil consciousness, to shine the light. What is going on? I'm shining that light and I'm telling that to go. I am telling that I do not consent to that, and I will not align with that. And by not aligning with that, what it means then is that I'm calling it out. So that's what that is. And I want to leave you with this today. And I hope that, it's speaking to you, that you start understanding this righteous anger. And just let me know if you have been there, or if you're feeling it at the moment. I know there are people who are coming to me and feeling that they need to speak out when they see something being so unfair, somebody being abused, in this current situation where people are divided. And we have, yes, to be careful how we are using that anger. But certainly when people are abusing others because they're not complying with a mainstream narrative, you cannot abuse somebody in that way and not think that you are not, you're going to be ignored, that we are just going to walk away. We are speaking up for love, for the freedom, the free spirits, free beings that we are. We were born free beings. And we have got the right to live as free people, not enslaved people. And that is right, to be angry righteously against those who are trying to enslave us. Absolutely. So that's all for today. And please, if you have any experiences around this, anything that you want to say about this, leave your comments or get in touch with me. You can, just use the various links that I've put there. And if you really want to know more about emotions, please get onto the Facebook private group, or onto the membership, or just email. If you really are struggling with some emotions, please don't do that on your own. There is always help. Always. We are here for each other. We are all beautiful spirits together. We are connected in that higher place. You are not alone. So please get in touch. And wherever you are today, I am sending you lots of love.